Solent University. You're listening to Solent Sports News.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Solent Sports News. It's 1 o'clock and I am Sid, your host for the day. To give you a quick roundup, earlier this morning, Southampton FC manager was sacked by the club following the team's poor run of form this season. The club has released a statement saying, "We now believe it is an appropriate time to make a change." To talk about it more, we have got Alfie House, Southampton FC reporter for Solent Daily Echo, who has shared his views on the decision being long time in the making.
I think it was. I think the writing's been on the wall for a little while now. Ralph Hasenhüttl was the master of getting himself out of sticky situations. They've had heavy defeats, we're talking 9-0 defeats, and they've gone on runs of 1 win in 12 at the end of last season. But he always manages to pull out a result or pull out something that keeps him in the job. And he did that a few weeks ago. He got a win against Bournemouth and 2 draws against West Ham and Arsenal when the writing was fully on the wall. Everyone was convinced he was going to be sacked. Unfortunately, since then, it's back to the old ways. We've lost at Crystal Palace, lost at Newcastle, and we were told last night that Ralph Hasenhüttl was going to be sacked as manager. The thing we didn't know was when that was going to be. There was absolutely no clarity about that. It could have been this week, it could have been next week after Liverpool. We didn't know when it would happen. It's come this morning. And I think for me, that's a bit of a metaphor for the way his managerial tenure has ended. Lack of clarity. Ralph Hasenhüttl, Southampton, at their best, were clear. They played 4-2-2, they were high pressed, they knew exactly what they were doing, and the players' roles were very clear. It's been muddled since about April. They've had that run I mentioned, 1 in 12, and they've lost games and they've abandoned their philosophy, and instead they've gone into just trying to get a result to keep them in the job, and that's not a conducive way to manage a football club.
Talking about potential replacements, here is what Alfie had to say.
It is very early, and I think the thing about managerial odds is that you never really know who's going to be. Somebody who's favourite one day is then going to be bottom in the odds next week. The one person who's been linked so far by The Athletic is Nathan Jones at Luton Town. 2 really good spells with Luton Town, but 1 failure with Stoke City. I don't know if that's the man that's going to inspire Southampton fans immediately, but they're going to look for somebody who fulfills Ralph's philosophy, because an email was sent to all staff today at Southampton about 10 minutes before he was sacked, or it was confirmed. And that said that the first note was they were very thankful to Ralph for his drive, endless energy and commitment, they called it. And they said that his legacy is going to be one of player development and improving the football infrastructure. This is a private email that hasn't gone out to the public, but I've been able to see it. So there is sympathy for Ralph that things haven't gone the way he wanted, and they want to keep this young player philosophy. They want to keep developing players, and they're only going to bring in a manager that's willing to do that. They're not going to bring in somebody who's going to sign 4 32-year-olds and try and get results right this second. They want somebody who's there for the future, and Nathan Jones does fit that profile, but there'll be a number of candidates.
In more local sports news, Solent Rugby women's team has won against Amesbury women's team. Also, both under-18 men's and women's Solent Kesslers basketball team has won their respective matches 96-52, 65-31 respectively at the under-18 National Cup. English club Manchester City have reported club record revenues of £613 million and profits of over £41 million for the 2021-2022 season. It is the second highest revenue in English club history after Manchester United's £627 million in 2019. Last season, City won their 6th Premier League since the 2008 takeover by the Abu Dhabi United Group. City's revenue was up to £43.2 million on the previous year, with the majority of games were being played behind closed doors because of the coronavirus pandemic. That's all from us for now. I'll be back in an hour. Remember, you can keep up to date on website solentjournalism.co.uk.